A breakthrough star, I mean, every single year, guys break through as stars, right? And it's more like every couple of months. A couple of years ago, nobody knew who Israel Adesanya was, just by example. Huge star. Even George Masvidal, in some level, falls into that category. And why everybody might have known him, he was just a guy on the card. Now he's one of the biggest stars in the history of the sport, let alone standing. I think we can establish the guys break through, and sometimes it's fun to try to predict who that's going to be. I think as we go into 2020, I think there would be good reason to believe that Petr Yan is a very likely candidate to be a big breakthrough star. I mean, I didn't know a whole bunch about this guy. I think he was like 15-1 coming into his fight with Uriah Faber. Knew he was young, knew he was nasty, knew a lot of these really good things about him. I think his one loss was like a split decision loss, and it's 4 years ago, and that would have made him like 20 years old at the time, which in many ways, right, whenever we did it, 20 years old or 21 years old, we kind of get a redo in life. So Petr Yan, though, is one of these guys. Not only did he look great against Uriah on a meaningful card, on a meaningful placement, but he then ends up in some dust up in the back with Cody Garbrandt. Now, this was just verbal, but anytime you get into face-to-face with Cody Garbrandt, that can be helpful. Cody Garbrandt has the it factor to the highest of levels. I mean, Cody Garbrandt is right there with Mike Perry as guys that just, okay, let me stop what I'm doing. Let me stop what I'm doing and see what you're doing, right? Just has it. So Garbrandt gets in this back and forth with him. But it seems that everywhere I turn since then, I keep hearing his name. Now he's coming after Henry Cejudo, and I'm very hard. He's putting on a full court press. I will not predict for you that Yan is going to get the nod and be fighting Cejudo next, but the fact that Yan is now like 16-1 with a win over Uriah, face-to-face in the back with Garbrandt as a former world champion, and now he's calling out Triple C. I mean, there's something to that. This is how these things start. If it doesn't start organically and naturally for you, if the crowd doesn't get behind you or the promoter puts his stamp, you got to start yourself. There's only 3 options. Only 3 ways to do it, right? Promotion either gives you what's called the push, the fans give you what's called the mandate, or you got to step in and take matters in your own hand. And it looks like Jan's doing that. He is. And while Cejudo may be blowing him off, Cejudo's still saying his name. I mean, it's coming up, it's coming out, it's coming into interviews. Cejudo does not have an opponent as of right now that any of us have been made aware of. The rankings start to line up, and I don't think Jan's going to get Henry next. But I think that Yan gets something very good next. I think people start to realize this is a handsome guy. Turns out he's got a little bit of an attitude. Turns out he's got just a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, which quite frankly we all get. That's something we can all relate to. Turns out he's got a great record, a great ranking. Oh, and by the way, he's young. Guy checks a lot of boxes. I think as you're moving into 2020, and if the last 3 weeks are any indicator, I mean, I'm telling you, everywhere I go to media, I keep reading this guy's name. I'm not talking about this guy, but this is how it all starts. I think for breakthrough stars, and there's a number of them that I could mention, but I think for breakthrough stars, for 2020, you should keep a very close eye on Petr Yan.